Welcome to this week's episode of the Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group. Each week we take you to the best car shows all across the country, and today is no exception. We're joining the Hemmings Motor News Great Race, presented by Hagerty in Buffalo, New York. 120 of the world's finest antique automobiles will be put to the test on this 2,300-mile journey to Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Are you ready to send off this race? Here we go, number 66.
The first car we'll take a look at is a 1917 Peerless, driven by Team Hagerty. This team is sporting new drivers this year, and it should be interesting to see how they handle this timeless machine.
This car is a 1917 Peerless. It goes by the name Green Dragon. If you're familiar with Peerless, it is not the Green Dragon driven by Barney Oldfield. It is actually a tribute to those cars. So this one originated as a town sedan, some type of big enclosed car, and was rebodied in the late 20s as a board track racer, which is the tribute that you see here. So it was rebodied again in the late 90s in aluminum, but it runs the original powertrain and transmission, as well as the chassis and suspension. So it can be a handful, but it has pretty good manners. It ran great. We were fortunate, it was a cooler day, and with that moisture in the air, we weren't overheating the engine. We weren't worried about the temperature of any of that. We were more worried about traction on the tires and making sure that we'd be able to stop consistently. But overall, it went really well. We weren't messing up any of the gears. All of our shifts were right. We were running, a little slow initially, which caught us by mistake, but that was not the car's fault, that was my fault. So the car ran great.
One of the favorites in this year's race has to be Team Number 1, Restoration Supply Company. Previous grand champions Howard and Doug Sharp are in the cockpit of this 1916 Hudson Hill Climber. We caught up with Howard and Doug in their hometown of Fairport, New York.
So the 1916 Hudson, we actually purchased in 2011 after we won the Great Race with our 1911 Veely. So the inaugural year of Great Race, getting back on board in 2011, we drove our 1911 Veely. We had a couple different cars that we could drive, and I said, Dad, I really want to drive our 1911. It's 100 years old. I go, if we break it, we break it, but I don't want to drive anything else. So we bought the Hudson, and we've been racing that since 2012. We won with the Hudson in 2015 when we did Route 66. We went from Kirkwood, Missouri, all the way to Santa Monica Pier, and cruising out on that Santa Monica Pier, making the left and going under the banner and saying, "Hey, you're the winner." It was an awesome feeling. So two times getting that championship bird, that's pretty impressive. So we're striving for it this year. Hopefully on the farthest East Coast we've ever been, to get all the way out there in Halifax, we can take the win this year.
One of the most colorful guys on the Great Race was John Quarry in his 1954 Studebaker Land Cruiser. John and his navigator, Dale Kaysen, with Team Those Guys Again, were greeted by a huge crowd in downtown Troy, New York.
I used to run a very different car, and while it was very comfortable, and that was a good secret weapon, comfort and reliability, it wasn't really a good rally car. So a couple of years ago, bought this little rascal on eBay out of Nebraska from its original owner. And it didn't need too much except for all the loose and rotty parts that had to be changed out, And we did that. And Dale here, my navigator, is one heck of a good mechanic as well. So between us, we got it running pretty good. We took it out last year, and we did all right. In fact, we never scored so well before in a race. So we thought, well, we'll use the same car again. So far, so good. We'll see how it goes. This little rascal has the small block before the small block. So in 1953 and 54, Studebaker brought out this 232 cubic inch overhead valve V8, and that's what's powering this little rascal.
Another New York team, Hudson Racing, and their 1940 Chevrolet Master are gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah, so the brakes on our Chevy, they're good, but they're not great. So if we're going downhill for more than a mile or two, we try to get the door open and get some more wind resistance. So we call them air brakes. I close up the windows, open up the door as much as I can, just to get some more air resistance, and that's a lot less pressure on the brakes. So hopefully when we get to the bottom, if we do need to stop for some reason, we can stop.
We'll be right back with more amazing cars on the Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group. The Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group, is brought to you by Heart of Appalachia. Virginia is for lovers. Original Parts Group, world-class restoration parts. Brothers Truck Parts, your #1 source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GM truck restoration. Lokar, quality, plain and simple. In keeping with the hometown theme, one of the lunch stops was in Bennington, Vermont, the hometown of Jim Minetto and his 1932 Ford Speedster. This is the Hemmings Motor News team, always one of the great race favorites.
Well, obviously, we're here in Bennington, Vermont, our hometown, our home office today. We started out in Albany, and we went the very circuitous way to get here, up to Glens Falls North, then back south into Vermont. The last time we were here, it was pouring rain, and it was all overcast and cloudy. So today, people got to see the beauty of Vermont. Today, the car is doing great. It's running nice and cool. It's the first day we're not into rain, so it's making a huge difference as far as visibility, traction, and so on. Hemmings is proud to be the title sponsor. We have been for the last 10 years. And the reason why we do this is because we think it's the best way to get people out to see these old cars, especially young people.
Besides all the hometown crowds, festivals, and marching bands, the racers were treated to some unbelievable museums and private collections along the route. It's time for Lokar Lowdown with Kevin Ford.
Hey guys, Lokar has been fortunate enough to be able to purchase a company called Clayton Machine Works. This might be something you've already heard about, or maybe you're familiar with the Clayton Machine Works line. What I want to do specifically is share with you the manual shifter levers that the Clayton line has to offer. It's got great unique styling from anywhere from our truss style that we offer in this gray, and of course we've got a variety of knobs that you can select from, or you can supply your own. This truss style is available in 2 lengths. We've got 2 lengths also in this style where we've got a mesh insert. This actually has a panel that comes off, so you can remove that insert and you just have a completely different look without the mesh, or you can paint the mesh. You could even replace that with something else, you know, some sort of pearl or whatever, you know, matches the car. But these are offered like this in black with the highlighted edges that's typical to the Clayton Machine Works style. And then we've got a really unique version here. This is not just for looks, this is actually an adjustable shifter. So once you bolt this on, you know, you can come in here, you can take this ring off, and you can actually index this thing forward to back to get the perfect line in your car. It just adds a really nice touch, and come check them out in person. You can find the Clayton Machine Works line of products at any of the Lokar booths that we're at shows, or you can go online to claytonmachine.com.
Welcome back to the Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group. Corky Coker, CEO of Coker Tire and founder of the Great Race, is a true antique car lover. He joins the race each year to greet the racers as they enter the different cities. He welcomes them as they compete and enjoy the experience of a lifetime.
We're in Gardner, Maine, and I've just gotten one of the grand champions that just rolled into Gardner, Maine, and what is this?
I don't know.
This is Stage 3 winner, signed by Corky Coker. I guess that means congratulations. Dave Reeder, Sawyer Stone, grandfather, grandson. How was the day, boys?
I think they won. 2 races, 3.24.
3.24. I guarantee you that's a winner for the day. It's got to be. Headed on. Great job, boys. We got another grand champion here. This is Howard Sharp and Douglas Sharp from Fairport. They hosted us the very first night of the event. So how'd it go today, boys? You guys did okay? All over the map today. What happened, Doug? It was all driver error, wasn't it?
I don't know. We did something.
Howard Sharp, Douglas Sharp, they won in 2011 and 2013, is that right? 2015, 2011, 1916, Pikes Peak, Hill Climber, Hudson, really wonderful car, always great competitors. Got a 13.2 today.
What's her?
3.2, baby. Yeah, serious. Let me tell you, these guys are two raging Cajuns from Louisiana. I love these guys. They drive their 1928 Model A race car and have the most fun. They're pretty good cooks now too. They can make some good jambalaya, all kinds of good food. So how'd it go today, boys?
A little better than yesterday.
A little better than yesterday. What you already saw, John? Did you have a little bit better score than yesterday? Did you get any aces on that track today? Had a one. That's an almost ace. You guys have a great day. Thank you for being here. All right. Here comes a wonderful car. We got a beautiful 1965 Jaguar E-Type Roadster. This guy I've known for over 40 years. That sounds like it's too much, but it's true. It's real. We went to Sunday school together when I was I wasn't even married then, and I've been married over 40 years. Wonderful car, great competitors. How'd it go today, boys?
Look at that.
You got an ace. Look, they got one of those aces. They passed the checkpoint at exactly 0.0. Look at this nice Chevrolet Apache pickup truck from Ohio. Barry and Jewel, what a wonderful truck. So, Miss Jewel, did Barry do every single thing that you said for him to do today? Every single thing. You know, there's probably nothing better that you could experience in a lifetime than being able to sit right here in this truck, which is one of his favorite things, and get to tell him where to go and what to do all day long. And he's got to do it, doesn't he?
That's true.
Barry, thanks for being here. Great truck. Appreciate you bringing it. Mark, what a wonderful car. You guys have fun today?
We had a ball.
Did you go up the mountain? No. You didn't go up the mountain. That's a good thing. Save the brakes, son. Save the brakes. Wonderful car.
The Team Maine boys driving in the expert division in their 1948 Ford sedan were hometown favorites as they pulled into Gardner, Maine for a lobster feast that no one will ever be able to forget.
Oh, the car does really well. Just, you know, you have to pre-plan a lot of it, but does a good job. It's a blast to drive. It's got the original flathead V8 that came in the car. So it's pretty cool. It's a cool car. Oh, it's just fun. It's a challenge, and the challenge part is an old car, and it's, you know, I don't think we could miss it now. It'd be pretty hard. We got a great group of guys and have a fun time. And, you know, we look forward to going into Halifax, going to Canada. And next year's ride's going to be up the coast of California. And can't wait for that, really.
Original Parts Group Incorporated Restoration Tip.
Here at Original Parts Group, we're dedicated to helping you through your restoration, whether it's throughout the entire process, the beginning, middle, to the end, and then when you've got your restoration complete. With that, we've got a variety of books and manuals to help you. If you're looking for body assembly, body service, chassis service, it's going to help you tear apart your car the right way, document what pieces go where, and also help you with reassembly. These are definitely valuable resources anytime you're doing a restoration. After you've got your restoration complete, we also offer a variety of GM reproduction books and manuals, such as your owner's manual, your custom features and accessories, and your retail price guide if you're looking to just put that finishing touch on your restoration and have all those documents there on display with your vehicle. You can order any of those through our catalog, our website, or you can call and one of our sales representatives will help guide you through the right process to get you the books and manuals that you need.
We'll be right back with more amazing cars on the Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group. The Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group, has been brought to you by Rod End Supply. We don't just sell them, we race them. H&M Saw, the saw that cuts straight. McKee's 37, complete auto and RV care. Advertising Edge, the official uniform of the NHRA. Always a fan favorite, the Wandering Troubadours of Finland, driving their 1918 American LaFrance, entertain the crowds with their huge entourage, leading them into each stop.
This car is, the challenge is keeping it on the road. I mean, literally and figuratively. It has two-wheel rear brakes and doesn't have any brakes in the front. And it has wooden wheels. And so the combination of it is we have problems with the brake bands in the back heating up. And yesterday, coming down from Mount Washington, actually the rear brakes started on fire. And we had to stop and pull over alongside the road and pour our drinking water on it to stop the fire. And so today we got them adjusted pretty well, and our times were the best that we've had so far. We got an ace, which means we had a perfect score in one of the legs. And it's really hard to get this thing, to get an ace in this thing is really hard. It really takes a lot of concentration. Most of the cars in the race will accelerate fairly normally and will brake and stop fairly normally. This one has kind of everything going against it, starting, stopping, steering. It just has a real hard time. It has about 85 horsepower. It's a four-cylinder, 9.5 liter, and it's got about just under 800 foot-pounds of torque, which is it's a real torquey machine. The fun thing today, there's a lot of hills. There's a lot of really steep hills, and this thing would just maintain speed, just chugging up the hill, dun, 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 dun. And that's a real benefit with this. Now coming down the hill, doesn't want to slow down, and so we have to be real careful with that. I was locking up the rear wheels a bunch of times today, coming to a stop, going down a hill. So it's really interesting. Of course, you don't have a windshield on this either, which is tomorrow's supposed to rain a lot, and so if we get rain pelting us in the face, it's like getting shot with a BB gun. It's just whap, whap, whap in your face, and it's hard to read our instructions when the rain's coming down. So everything kind of goes south on us when the rain comes.
The team in the 1929 Model A, they call themselves the Bucket Listers, started the Great Race adventure with an opportunity to have their car photographed on Goat Island at Niagara Falls.
Yeah, sure. We had a really good route today. It was nice and clear, good driving, nice roads. A little tough time getting through the border, but we're glad to be here.
The race crossed into Canada, and the participants enjoyed some beautiful scenery through New Brunswick and on into Nova Scotia. The racers fought the weather and the terrain, all while displaying these fantastic machines.
The car's running fine, we're not doing so well. So we think it's a speedometer, so we put in a new speedometer this morning and we're going to give her another go. We're in a borrowed car, but we don't think that's the problem. It's either the speedometer, if it's not that, it's going to have to be us. So we'll find out today.
Good, man. We've been playing a little jam and headed down the highway. I heard you, Captain. Just acting stupid. On a mission from God.
This week's pick of the show, presented by McKees37.com, is a 1940 Cadillac Convertible, driven by husband and wife team Mary Beth and Tag Lewis.
I have to say, with this car, 3 on the tree, a lot easier than the 1968 Camaro I used to drive. I will say this was a lot easier for me to downshift to the next gear and keep that speed better, and I think that's why we did do better today.
It's a 1940 Cadillac Series 62 convertible. It's basically stock. We redid the wiring harness, rebuilt the motor, updated the car as far as making it more reliable. We did an interior upgrade to a modern style interior because your seat is your friend on this race. And we finished it Monday before we started, and so far so good. We've been very pleased with how well it's run.
It's running real well.
Next week, we travel to Greenville, Pennsylvania, where clear skies are in the forecast. Join us then on the Lokar Car Show and discover why locals call this one the best car show yet.